Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, everyone who's here. Welcome. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Diana. Hi, Lucia. Thanks for joining us. Let us know that you can hear us in the chat box there. I love seeing people on mobile and computer. It's great to see everyone getting a feel for these webinars and enjoying it. This is day 5, I think, of our creative photography storytelling tips. We are super excited for today. I don't know if anyone caught my Instagram stories I just posted like 20 minutes ago. But does anyone want to take a guess at what today's tip is? I kind of hinted at it a lot over these last couple weeks. And it's like we've said before, these photo tips are all about bringing you into the moment, really understanding what it means to live wonderful. Every time you pick up your camera, no matter what kind of camera it is, we want you to feel like these tips, 1 through 5 we're going to get to today, really compound on each other, and they help you build this foundation that will help you really bring your stories to life. Hi, Kate. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining us. Laura, I saw that you're joining us on Saturday for visual storytelling at Lake Eola. I'm super excited for that. You're bringing a friend too, right? Tell me what your friend's name is. Who are you bringing with you? Guys, just a quick announcement. We are, good, I'm excited too, Laura. We are getting back to work, getting back to fun and hanging out and connecting in person. Following due
I'm so ready for that.
I know. Alicia will be here. Wonderful. Laura's bringing her daughter to the photo tour. That'll be fun.
Next week? I think I'm here next week.
Yeah, next week. I have goosebumps.
I know.
It's weird. I'm going to be really like vulnerable and cute and cheesy for a minute, but I think I'm just excited to hug you, but I'm also just excited to like be next to someone else, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I love my fiance, of course, and my dog, but I think we're all like, can I get a breather here? So I'm going to be like on to you like crazy.
Oh, me too. I'll probably have a snuggle stash with you, that's for sure. On the
So this Saturday, guys, is our first day back to fun, connecting in person. We will be following our due diligence and practicing social distancing. If you want to wear a mask and you feel that will make you safer, you are welcome to. We will not be wearing masks, but we will be, like I said, keeping our 6 feet. And hint, Laura, and anyone else who decides to join us this Saturday, we are going to be diving into a lot of the tips in class Saturday that you're getting hints about here already on these webinars. So again, these 10 or 12 tips we're giving you, they're not just any whatsoever fun, cool tips. They are fun, cool, whatever tips, but they're really the foundation to any time we pick up the camera. And so last week we talked about what it feels like to really discover your hero, what it feels like to be in the moment, let it unfold, and realize that quite often we can show up with a vision, but that idea might change as we start clicking around and seeing other perspectives and realizing we have a new main subject, if you will, or something else that interests us. So today's, if anyone didn't get, I'm gonna ask one more time. Does anyone have a guess after realizing what it feels like to discover your hero? What do you think today's tip has to do with? We've talked about light. We've talked about subject and the hero and what you feel connected to in your story. What would be the next thing that really catches our attention and brings our stories to life? Alicia, I'll give you the drum roll.
It's color, catching the color. Yeah,
yes,
bringing color.
Bringing color. And an easy thing we always love to say here is catch the color. What catches your attention? Pay attention to the colors. I want to bring up a really cool diagram here for a minute. And like I've said before, guys, a lot of the stuff we're telling you and sharing with you is really stuff that already makes sense naturally to us as human beings. So we're just taking the moment to step back and analyze it a little differently, because when we actually click to take a picture, we as human beings, our eyes and brain are constantly working together, interpreting scenarios and giving us a perception of what's out there, right? So when we decide to pick up the camera and capture it, we have to take a step back and really get this bigger picture, pun intended, of what the camera sees. So once we start to identify that light and the subject that we want to really capture, we have to think about the color that surrounds all that. And we've talked before about highlights and shadows and the power of light and how much light and where it comes from. But now let's consider the midtones. That's where the color shows up. It's all our details, right? So where we see most of the color, where our eyes naturally expose, is in the midtones, not the brightest brights, that would be white, and it's not the darkest darks, that would be black. We are attracted to everything in between, which is the rainbow of colors that make up our vision. So when you guys look at this color wheel, has anyone seen anything like this before? You guys that are joining us now, if you want to chime in on the chat box, we love to have you interact and make sure it's not just me and Alicia here chatting back and forth. We could just get on the phone and do that, right? We do it all the time.
Yeah. I've seen many color wheels, but this one's a little different. You know, it's explaining the feelings that come along with colors, and I think that's cool.
Yes. Yeah. So RGBIB, if you've ever heard of it in art theory classes, it stands for the colors of the rainbow. And if you look at the spectrum, it always starts with a red and goes around. If you think of it, let me get my pointer up here. If you think of red to orange, to yellow, to green, to blue, to purple, or magenta, the colors all connect, right? So here's the easiest way to connect to feelings. Remember, the first thing we talked about is how your why and noticing with your 5 senses, you're connecting to a feeling. That's what makes us want to tell a story, right? So let's look at some of these feelings. And even before you read the words, just let us know in the chat box here, what color catches your attention? What color jumps out to you? Maybe another easy way that we've all been asked our whole life is, what's your favorite color? So what calls to you? What are you connected to? Laura loves yellow. What do you guys love here? I can tell you, in all the renditions of Live Wonderful, I am fully connected to greens and blues. So I love teal. I love turquoise. I love turquoise stone.
I'm green all the way.
You're green all the way? Okay. Diana loves red. Debbie loves red. Diana loves blue. Kate loves blue. Okay, so naturally, individual uniqueness that we all are, we are connected to something. We are connected a little bit differently, right? We all feel something a little differently. This is great. Lucia loves the blue and the green. I'm with you there. So now, just thinking about the color that you're attracted to, let's look at the words in there and see what connects you in those words, right? Now let's put those words into a story. So I love blues and those turquoise tones. So we have safety, foundation, hope, renewal, healing. Or there's always going to be a positive and negative to these words, okay? So you can use them in so many different ways. With bold blues, we have cold, sadness, or distant, but we also have calm, okay? So when you look at these words, what word jumps out to you? For me, it's hope and healing and calm. These words really do resonate with me when I think about those blues and greens that I love. I don't know if we'll get to some of my pictures. We're going to look at some of Alicia over the weekend here in a minute. Did you?
You're breaking up just a tiny bit. Can everybody hear us?
What color did you like there, Alicia? What was the color that jumped out to you?
Oh, green. And the words for me are about love, harmony, and nature. So I think I can with those most.
And that's obvious, right? Greenery is always in nature there. So she loves the word fun and peace. I love that. Donna, in yellow. Yellow is such a bold, vibrant color, right? It has a fun feeling. Think of energetic, think of humor, happiness. It livens you up. So as you even look at these colors, and the reason we're looking at this scale first is because we're about to look at some images, and I want you guys to start to attach yourself or connect with these colors and the words based on what you feel as soon as you look at the image, okay? What is your eye drawn to? What feeling comes up? I bet these words come to mind. They come into your thoughts. But the idea here is the color, which is attached to our sight and our experience and what we're capturing, that color connects to our feeling first. It's not a thought first. It's not a perfect formula of what has to be right? There's not like some exact answer. It comes from a feeling first. So before we pull up these pictures, I want to point out one other thing that I'm going to ask you about when you see them. Not only do these individual images or colors represent certain words, but their relationship to each other matters as well. So think of joy being next to humor, or love being next to freedom, or power being next to vitality, right? So each of these words kind of work together. And what was that word we just learned, Alicia?
Oh, analogous.
Analogous. It means
colors are next to each other.
Exactly. So colors that are next to each other, we just learned this. We looked it up because the opposite of this is complementary colors. And complementary colors are colors that are opposite each other. So now imagine the word fun or energy. The opposite of that might be quiet or meditative. So when you look at yellow and purple being opposite, or look at joy and optimism next to sadness and lonely, okay? So when you look at these opposite colors, they relate to each other as well. So we knew what that meant, and we use it all the time, but we had to look up the word just now to teach you guys. Analogous means colors next to each other.
Yeah.
So this is huge, guys. When I started to really pay attention to color, it changed the way I edited photos. It changed the way I realized I wanted to capture angles. It changed the way I told stories. And Alicia's going to bring up some photos now. And I'm going to leave you guys with 2 questions. I want you to just dive into the chat box immediately. Don't think about it. I want you to look at these pictures. As soon as she brings it up, you can bring it up any second now. First question I want you to answer is, what feeling comes up first? And what color are you attracted to first? What are you drawn to, okay? So what color and what feeling dives into your brain immediately when you see this photo, okay? You ready, guys? Boom. So while they're answering, Alicia, give us a little backstory about this shot.
So this was a shoot I did with a friend this weekend. We had to just do something to get out and feel a little bit alive. So she needed more, I'd say, photos to help her with telling her story and her business, especially with Arbonne. She sells Arbonne products. But she lives this very healthy lifestyle, and she wanted me to bring that to life. And if you were on last, Monday's webinar, we kind of talked about this on the back end about our, finding our hero. And it was fun to catch the color while finding the hero in this story, which was her. So I'd say this picture, obviously, what stands out to you guys the most in this picture?
Yeah, and we're getting some great answers here. So calm, peace, relaxing, green and peaceful. Yeah, you guys are all connecting to a similar feeling. And what draws you into that? The physical element that is pulling you in.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Now that I look at that color wheel, most of the colors on the color wheel are on the right side of the color wheel in this shot and throughout the actual shoot. And I'll show you guys a couple more pictures. But, you know, focusing on that green, it was a way to, you know, balance everything else out, you know, when it comes to feeling that calmness or the life that was in it. So even the water and the reflection is really cool.
Lucia got it. Vitality. And Diana, thank you for pointing that out. She pointed out the other main color, which is secondary and very complementary, and that's the yellow. See the yellow foundation at the ground, okay? So the green pulls you in, right? That's her focal point, and the story about Arbonne and the healthy living literally just boom, boom, boom. Your eye just cascades through the shot and you see it. But that initial pull is green, vitality, wellness, Arbonne. And let's look at the other thing about that green. What else, simply within the green, what else catches your attention, guys? What do you see that makes that so eye-catching? There's one word we're looking for here, and it is the point of storytelling. Remember, it was a couple tips ago. But what is it about that green that kind of makes it feel like it's alive? There's one thing that you are seeing that your eyes, and this is us training our brains to step back and think a little bit. It's not just green. You are seeing something in that green. And I'm giving everyone a pause because we've got some people typing before we give out the answer. I love it. So, and the same, yes, the green, the water in the bottle, yes, there's green. Anywhere that you see green, and specifically, I'm looking at the green in the logo of Arbonne, okay? But you could also look at the green in the top of the water cap. So when you look at the water and the green and the water bottle and what we're looking at here, I'm trying not to give it away, there's something that is catching your attention. There's something about this area. Yes. Light, Debbie said it. There is light in the green, brightness, exactly. So the light bulb, literally, that I want to go off for you guys right now is that your eyes are going to be immediately drawn to where there is light, color, and focus. That's it. Our eyes
were immediately drawn to that brightness that was coming through. The light was coming through the bottle and hitting that green. And I was like, woo, that's pretty, you know, like I have to focus on that and get that shot. So I was catching that color as the light came through that logo. And it made that green even more spectacular than, you know, anything. So, and I was twisting the bottle too, to make sure the light was hitting it perfectly. So, and when it comes to color in this shot, I apologize to interrupt.
No.
Yeah, no, when it comes to the color and when you're, you know, I didn't even know I was balancing all these colors out on the color wheel. And we mentioned that word analogus, and that is, you know, found in nature and harmony and in balancing. So I was unaware until I'm looking at this going, she picked the right mat, you know, the right bottle, you know, the right clothing, and she didn't even know she was doing it. But I was consciously aware that those colors worked together without even putting too much thought into it.
I mean, if she had walked out wearing rainbow tie-dyed leggings, your mind would have gone, because that ain't working. Now, if you were doing a shoot for the tie-dyed leggings, you would have the rest of the scene very simple because there's so much color in your focus, in your hero.
Right. She practices this healthy, balanced, you know, serene and harmonious lifestyle every day. So I think it just came natural to her anyway, which is cool.
And I have learned that consciously chosen to do it, but also realized in hindsight that I do it subconsciously now. and it becomes habitual. I buy things in these colors. All my walls are soft, cool gray, but on the bluer side of gray. They're not gray, right? I have greenery everywhere in my house. I wear solid, simple, natural colors. But then every once in a while, I will throw on a really bold color, and everything else I'm wearing is simple because I want that bold color to stand out. So you guys, I'm hoping, again, this whole purpose behind these classes is, yes, creative storytelling with your camera. But this is something we see with our eyes every day. So you should start to notice this in your everyday life, what you're attracted to in the colors. Bring up another photo.
Okay, cool. I was like, let's flow with it. I'll do 2 more so you can show yours if you want. This was just flowing into
so what color?
What color? Should we ask that?
Guys, what feeling shows up? What color and what feeling? Immediately, those should be thoughts or feelings inside you. What color jumps to your attention, and what feeling do you get from it?
Yes, mustard. I love mustard.
Happiness, oranges, joy, yellow.
Yeah, fun.
Exactly. And now we're attaching the same term. I have goosebumps. Now we're attaching that whole idea of, a photo is worth 1,000 words. Now attach that feeling of
happiness on this webinar.
To her smile.
Like, literally, she hasn't even seen these photos. Oh, you guys are seeing, photos that this person hasn't even seen yet.
Exactly. But you are getting a feeling of warmth and happiness and joy. The smiles, the glow. This is the golden hour. That sun is beaming off of her. Her orange in her necklace, the gold shining in her necklace. Look at her shirt color. Even the color of the grass in the background is warmer, okay? So when we think of warm colors, we're talking about these goldens from reds to greens or yellows. When we're thinking about colder, we're talking about greens to magentas, right? And just real quick, before you pull up that next picture, I'm going to bring this back up, guys. So when you look, if you were to draw a line, the bottom half of this pie from pink to teal, these are colder colors. And from red to green, these are warmer colors. So when you look at this shot, she's obviously in these warmer tones, this joyous brightness. The colder colors are going to be calmer and sadder or more secluded colors. Again, both have negative and positive feelings attached. We can just add in other elements to keep elaborating on that story.
And all right, awesome. I want to add to this photo just so people understand too. I was aware that the light was clearly behind her, right? So I knew we were on our porch and I was using natural light. So I was also aware that the light was hitting off of the house, which was a cream white tone, and casting this light onto her face, brightening it up too. So it was very soft, yellowy orange light. So be aware of those types of, lights as well.
Right. And so here's where Alicia is compounding on these concepts, right? So you have your why, you have your focus. Now she's looking at the direction of her light and her subject, her heroes, and combining these with the color and how she can work with it. And when we're talking about that light coming from behind, and now there's a wall in front of her, the wall of the house, that light from behind is reflecting off that wall and bouncing back, creating a softer, glowerier look. But wherever it bounces, it's going to take some of that color of that wall with it. So if she was standing in have a green light, power of light, color of light, to use that as you're not just using it and seeing it, but you're saying, how do I make that light affect my subject, my hero of the picture too. If you were to look at these dogs on a cold winter morning on snow, they would look gray and bluer, right? Because they're of that whiter tone and they would be reflecting that colder light on them. So we're always looking at warm and cold colors, complementary and analogous colors. And we're using them to help capture that moment, that story. All right, bring up one more, and then I want to.
One more, and then I would love for Danielle to show her her photos. So here we go. So this was towards the end of our shoot, and the sun was setting, creating this beautiful kind of what we want to call, and we've brought it up before. It was the what hour?
Yeah,
golden hour. Exactly. So it's beautiful orange kind of glow and highlight, you know, to her face. And does anybody know what the sun's doing there through the lens? Has anyone seen that before? Anybody?
Do you see what she's talking about? This effect that's happening in the shot. Do you guys have an idea of what that is, what it's called, or what it's doing to the shot there? I saw someone typing.
Well, Kate, there is bokeh. Yeah, there is bokeh happening. What did I have in that shot? Where was my aperture and f-stop, do you think? I was using a very lower aperture in order to get that bokeh behind her.
Yeah, so bokeh is these circles, guys, okay? So when you're using a low aperture, the opening of the ring is that blurred background wherever you're not focused is going to be in the shape of the opening of your ring. So on a low focus, the more blurry, the bigger that those rings are going to look, okay? And so, but do you notice these other rings? Do you see what's happening? So you have these big rings, you have these rings back here, but what is this effect? Do you see this line of rings? Do you see this? Do you see this color?
Yeah. I love incorporating this in my photography. Some people might not love it, but I try to play with it a lot. Sometimes you're not going to get this look until I must have taken, yes, lens flare, yay.
I wrote it, goofball.
No, your name. Okay, cool. Yes, it's called lens flare. I love playing with it, but I usually take a lot of photos to try and get this type of lens flare because it's hard, number one, focusing on a person's face when you're directly pointing your camera and lens into the sun, number one. So I automatically
in your face.
What?
It's like if I put a flashlight in your face and then held up fingers, it would be hard for you to focus on my fingers because there's too much light glaring.
So I'm constantly kind of moving around a little bit. I tend to focus on darker spots on, the body and then move my lens, to where I want it to focus. But I love playing with lens flares. They're so much fun. They bring a lot of color into it. Most of the time at a golden hour, it's very warm. It's that fun, energetic, harmonious type of relaxing vibe that I'm getting through these shots. And I caught her at a beautiful moment. And it's great when you want backlit pictures, use that type of light. It's such a beautiful lit photo. And I did not have any off-camera flash on this photo, which would have.
This is all natural light.
Yeah, it would have did it injustice if I added any kind of flash to it. You want to kind of go natural with this type of lighting.
I agree.
And but yeah, so that lens flare, do you want to should we explain how it happens to the lens?
Well, yeah, it's like, not to get technical, guys, but basically if it's pointed into your eyeball, your eye needs to contract, right? There's too much light coming in. So as you're trying to balance this light and tons of light is coming in, it's passing through all these layers of glass And where it's hitting the edge of this glass, it's creating that prism effect. It's called refraction. So this is actually technically focus. It's inner focus. It's focusing inside the lens. The light is trying to focus inside instead of past the lens outside. It's trying to grab something. That's why Alicia was saying it's difficult to focus on things. So what you have to do is you have to find a dark area first. You can see how she's focused on her face here. You have to find a darker area first, grab focus there, and then move. So I grab my camera. I call it the photographer's dance. This is what it looks like, guys. First of all, you want this look, you have to go out at the golden hour. And it's the 2 hours before sunset. Stay there the whole time, and you'll get it for maybe 20 minutes and somewhere in there. So when you see it and you're looking at that look and you're going for it, I look like this. I'm barely moving, right? But I'm also clicking in between each one, and I'm angling the camera, and I'm moving this way, and I'm moving around my subject. And notice how her light is just off the subject. You could have the light directly behind her. You could have it, she's got it off her, the edge there. It's not coming directly from behind her. It's over here more. So you're constantly moving around looking for that. It is not a wham, bam, thank you, bam. No. And frankly, none of our shots are when you're really getting them. But this is a trick that takes some time to focus on, and really is only done with the DSLR.
Yeah, and don't get frustrated if you're not getting it. That's why Danielle says you got to do this dance, and you kind of have to keep going with it. And when you find that focus, you'll hear your camera actually focus on that edge of the person's face, or where that dark spot is, and then you're like, yes, like, okay, I got it. Wow. That was probably one shot of, I don't know, maybe 30 that I did, with that dance, and that was the one that I loved the most. So we take many photos too. We don't nail it on every single try.
Exactly. No, never. Here's the opposite of that. So here's a lens flare with a high aperture. So instead of the bokeh effect, where you're getting this wide look, now everything's in focus, and you're getting the opposite. You're getting a starburst effect. Okay. And getting back to our tip for today, let's talk about it. What color catches your attention, and what feeling do you get when you look at this photo? This is something totally different, right? So we went from portraits and close-ups to wide landscapes. So what color catches your attention first? Where's your eye going in this shot? And then what feeling shows up with that? Laura says green and calm. I love it. So definitely a calming effect. And there's a lot of things in this photo that kind of bring that, right? The trees, nature in general is calming. Yellow, yes, happy, calming. Warmth is definitely a word. This was also taken at the golden hour. Notice how low the sun is, right? It's not above us. It's right at us. So I'm shooting it just like a flashlight. I'm shooting at the light and having to do the dance a little bit. Notice how it's bursting through the trees. It's not coming off some space in the distance. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The greens with the oranges. I'm glad Diana noticed the reds are vibrant too. Do you guys see the red? Mm-hmm. So Diana, I'm gonna challenge you. I want to ask you specifically, but if anyone else knows too, please jump in. Why do you think your eye caught the attention of the reds? Does everyone else see red in this photo? I know it's not the main color, right? Does everyone else see the reds in this photo? Not so much the yellows and the prettiness of the warmth, but the red, okay? And I'm going to point it out right now. There's red right here. There's red over here. You can really see it on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. So
and then now, top. Those ones catch me all the time.
Yep. You can see the hint of red up here. Yes, good word, Diana. Contrast. So the reason you can see the red is because it is a contrasting, a complementary color to the greens. Okay, so just real quick to kind of show you guys again. Let me bring this back up.
You know what I'm also seeing is the darker shadows in that photo specifically, and you'll probably see this in a lot of them. it catches those colors of the reds, the greens.
Yeah.
So it gives even that feeling.
And so now let's go there, guys. Let's think. I'm going to bring this picture back up in just a second, but we've got lots of greens and yellows we've talked about, and we've got this red. So we're talking about opposites here. Now I want you to look at this picture and tell me if you notice some of these colors over here. We're getting into the colder tones of it, all right? So let me bring the picture back up. Do you see the colder colors down here now? And now what Alicia said is, look at the colder colors in the tree trunks.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
I even blue, to be honest. And that
right
there, like if you stand in the forest, all right, I mean, I think our shadows are our fears, are where, you know, like kind of gets a little dark or cold, you know, lonely.
Yeah. Exactly. So the beauty of this shot, guys, and this is one of my goals this coming week, is I have written, I did an art show 2 years ago and presented 10 images that told the story of her. That was the whole concept of this art show. It was female photographers. And I wrote and recorded 10 2-minute stories that associate with each one of these images. And the story I wrote about this image was the fear of walking into the woods alone, that fear of going outside of your comfort zone, of stepping outside of the space that is safe and being afraid. And yet, what am I walking towards? The light, right? So I had no idea what I was shooting. I've told you guys that time and time again. Quite often, most of our best shots that we connect with are not planned. We allow the story to unfold, right? So I went out with my camera in the woods while I was camping, left the campground, followed the sunlight, the light ending, had no idea what I would get. And I was a little scared to walk into the woods alone, like, and leave the campground. I felt silly. It was a campground, you know? But all of these elements of color caught my attention. And I was able to tell this story about what it really felt like to let this not just capture a great shot, but allow my fears to subside and notice that darkness of being in the woods alone felt cold and eerie. And the shadows, do you see the shadows on the ground too? That has an eeriness to it. And yet what's creating those shadows is the light, right? So Diana said the shade seems cooler. So all of these things, guys, they all bring us back to what catches our attention is the color and the light, okay? And when we start to build this relationship between cold and warm or complementary or adjacent colors, we can really immediately attach to what we feel connected to when we pick up that camera, right? We're not just going, oh, look how cool this is. We're going, wow, that color catches my attention and I feel joyful, or I feel that calm serenity. So I think I have one more shot. I've talked a little bit about my garden. And I went out just this morning, just for you guys. It's a good challenge for me. And I want to bring up a color that is the opposite of what we've been talking about a lot, or colors. So let's bring up this one. So I forget what this flower is called, so don't ask. I'll tell you, if you really want to know, you can ask and I'll go look it up. But I will tell you, this is a pollinator flower, but I got it Home Depot. But I'm going to ask the same 2 questions again. What color catches your attention, and what feeling does it bring to you? And we've talked about colds and warms and this whole wheel of color. So you might now, all of a sudden, your brain is catching a lot of things, right? You're able to build story even quicker. What comes for you? See this?
Purple and green, yes. For me, it's, I mean, the obvious is green and purple, but there's
Yes.
splashes of yellow there that is complementary to purple. And I think it's a
Yeah.
really good balance in this shot.
And
Yellow is
purple,
light green too, so.
yeah, so I'll let you guys soak it in for one more second, then I'm going to bring up the color wheel again. But first I'm going to ask, green and purple caught your eyes immediately, right? So think about this, okay? I took this photo. This was my experience of the world. So if I saw those two and captured it, that's what I wanted you as the viewer to take in, okay? That's how you know that you're becoming a better storyteller, because you see something, you capture it, and somebody else reflects that same information to you. So you guys took in exactly what I did, purples and greens. Now, what are those two colors to each other? What is their relationship? How are they working together, and why do they pull you in, right? If that green back there, there's something about these two colors, and we've talked about warm and cold, so let me ask it in that regard. Is this warmer or colder? Yeah, exactly, Diana, those warmth and cold colors we have. But what are they? Are these colors next to each other, or are they opposite? Yes, opposites attract. Exactly, Donna. So purples and greens, the green here is a warm green, which is where you're seeing those yellows pop in too. And the purple is a colder, it's more in the shade, okay? When you can create an image that is warm and cold and has complementary colors, you have created an outstanding photo through and through. So the light here is cold light, right? It's soft wrapping. There's no hard bursts of light. It's a colder image. But because we're filled with so much of this warm green, we're able to really hone in on that coolness and peacefulness of that flower too. So we can go into a lot of psychology behind light here. We've talked for 40 minutes already about color. I'm sorry. We can go into a lot of psychology about color, right? I'm going to bring up one more shot because I just thought of this. I think it's on here. Hold on. Another great example of warm and cold, right? Cold blues, warm oranges, the light, it's all there, but that color is what made me want to tell this story, right? So as you guys go out today and shoot, and today we've got another gorgeous day here in Orlando. So I hope if you're here in Central Florida, you are getting some sort of camera out and you're going out and enjoying some fresh air. When you guys go out and shoot and you think about the direction of light and your hero, now I want you to take it a step further and think about the color that is attracting you to that moment and where it sits on the color wheel, right? If Alicia, do you have anything else to add in that? I want to bring that color wheel back up if not.
No. I think this photo is great to bring up because of the balance and that opposite on the color wheel here. And let's bring the color wheel back up because.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of blue in that photo on the top end, but then we also saw a lot of, oranges and reds. So it's very opposite. Danielle did a really good job seeing that.
I've been focused on all of these elements for a while. We both have, but in teaching them, it has made me far better a photographer because by explaining them and thinking about them more, every time I pick up the camera, I'm also looking for it. And I got to tell you guys, the photographer that has really made me understand light and color, specifically these two elements more and more, is a guy by the name of Chris Burkhardt. And I'll spell his name here. Lucy, I'm glad you enjoyed the class. Good.
Thank you for joining us.
I think you spell his name like this.
I think it's
You can find him on Instagram. It really is. He's a fantastic travel photographer, but he says two things. One, stop worrying about how quality your image is, much light as you possibly can. And two, play with color opposite attract. Simplify your image with color. Bring your warms and colds together and you'll make your images pop. So I want you guys to go out, use this new concept. It's one of my favorite ones. It has literally helped me see life through a new lens. Go out there, play with color, connect with what you feel with that color, and watch your story really unfold. We are going to be back here tomorrow at noon. If you guys want to join us for the beginner DSLR photography class, it's $25. You can see the link there on our Instagram page, and also Alicia, if you could type it in, it's livewonderful.clickmeeting.com. And listen, guys, this beginner class, it's $150 value. We are going to be giving you our infamous cheat sheet, which has our 5 steps to photo success, our entire storyline of how to capture with these perfect settings on our camera. And then this weekend, we are getting back at it. I know Laura's joining us. I hope you all can come as well. Here in Orlando, we're doing our visual storytelling class at Lake Eola. You can find that link at livewonderful.com/tours, TOURS. It's called the Visual Storytelling Photo Tour. Next weekend, we have a huge weekend coming up. Alicia's coming to town from Boston, and we are going to be hosting 2 workshops in one day. The morning, Saturday the 16th, we're going to be doing our portrait photography class. Guys, I don't care if you don't like taking pictures of people. This is about how to dive into storytelling as a human, right? It's what we see as human beings and how we experience the world. So our beginner portrait photography workshop is from 9 to noon on Saturday the 16th. And then that afternoon, we have a lot of people interested in this. No matter what kind of photography you love, we are going to be teaching our Lightroom photo editing and organizing, okay? So no matter what kind of camera you have, we are all now building these big digital collections, and we want to show you guys how to organize them and quickly and in a fun way edit your photos and really make them pop like a pro. And this is going to be a big part of this is going to be color, how to really make those colors pop. So if you can join us next Saturday, that's going to be from 2 to 5 p.m., our Lightroom workshop. All of those classes are available to you at livewonderful.com/tours. Lucia, yes, she's asking, we are going to be coming back to the Fort Lauderdale area hopefully soon. I would say give us till the summer to give you updates on that. Originally, we are hoping to be in partnership again with Little's Photography to bring our workshops. They are a high-end portrait studio down there, and we're working on it. Everyone's trying to get small businesses back into order. We are always available online for private lessons and group workshops. Again, tomorrow's our online group workshop. And we're here in Orlando at least once a month teaching these classes. We're coming to Boston too. So if anyone is listening in from Alicia's area up in Massachusetts, we are also going to be coming to Maryland this summer. Guys, this is where my hometown is from. And I'm going to be doing some summer camps up there with kids, as well as a really cool Eastern Shore outdoor nature tour with photography as well. Thank you, Diana, for joining us. Thank you, everyone. If you guys have any questions, you can reach us at hello@live, I'm typing it in, livewonderful.com. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Let me close this out so you can see your...
If you want to go to Google, go to Google and leave us a review. That would be amazing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, thank you for reminding me, Alicia. If you guys are enjoying these classes, okay, and you really are having fun with it, I want to give you 2 opportunities to really help us out. Number 1 is, like Alicia said, go leave us a review on Google. You can find us Live Wonderful Photography. I can promise you it is where 99% of new people find us. And it's where we build trust. That's the place we have. for other people saying, right? So if you are enjoying this and really having fun, let the world know. Go to Google, leave us a review. If you have the means, and we're very grateful for that. If you have the means and you want to donate, these are 12 free classes we're doing for you guys 3 times a week for the whole month of May. If you'd like to donate to Live Wonderful and help us out during this time, you can click the link we just posted in the chat box. It's paypal.me/Live Wonderful. Alicia and I are splitting the proceeds 50-50. When we come together and teach together, we do the same. We are a brand photography and creative education business. We're here for you guys through and through as entrepreneurs and creatives out there in the world. This is what we do for a living. So we love being here. We love giving you guys this value. And we thank you so much for joining us. We will see you Friday. Yes, yes. Friday, it is tip 6. We will see you guys here. Go have fun. Get off social media. Go get out your camera. Have fun. Go shoot. And we will see you in a few days. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yes. Live wonderful.